Welcome to The Jump, presented by Best Buy.
To Carter. He is invincible.
Let's go home. It's over, ladies and gentlemen.
Vince Carter just made a three. That could be the last points he ever scores in the NBA.
If this is it, it's all good. At least I made my last basket.
Vince Carter, it is official. No longer a part-time post. Welcome back to The Jump. We have been patiently waiting 4.5 years or so for you to hang it up and join us. I may have done a little light stalking over that time to make sure. Are you really 1,000% sure you're retired, though?
Yeah, it's over now. It's over. Literally, it's over.
Over. It is over, as the man so famously said. Amazing. We are so thrilled that you are joining us. And I got your old teammate here today, too.
Oh, my God. It's good. It's good to have Vince on this other side. It's good. Just welcome over here, Vince. You're never going to be more hated than when you're over here giving your opinions. It's be awesome.
Look at that beautiful view. This is live at the Advent Health Arena, ESPN's Wide World of Sports complex. Look over on that right side of the screen, those little lights. This is the site of Game 7 between the Nuggets and Clippers. But first, those little lights are on us, Richard. We are here.
Let's go.
Welcome to The Jump. I'm Rachel Nichols, alongside NBA champion Richard Jefferson and the legend, the soon-to-be Hall of Famer, Vince Carter. Seriously, Vince, welcome. We're so excited. Richard and Vince, of course, teammates with the New Jersey Nets. So do you have any advice here, Richard, now that you're...
The only advice is anything that you see me do the complete opposite.
Fair.
Right? Like that is pretty much the life advice I've given to lots of people. Do opposite of anything you say or you see me say or do.
I hear you, man. But this was a good time right here, though. I tell you that.
Oh, that was awesome. That's still probably the highlight of my career. Still, at this point in time.
A commercial with Vince
commercial.
Carter.
Yes,
Fair.
It was.
It was a great
kid you not.
Yeah, it's fun.
Totally fair.
Yeah, it's fun.
Well, guys, tonight we've got the final NBA doubleheader of the season here on ESPN. Eastern Conference Finals, Game 1 between the Heat and Celtics, and then Game 7 of the Western Conference semi between the Nuggets and Clippers. Be on the sideline for that one. I'm so excited. Later in the show, we're previewing tonight's Game 1 between Miami and Boston, and you will see my conversation with Jason Tatum for that one. But first, let's talk about the Clippers. The Clippers have been around for 50 years, and that entire time, the team has never made it far enough in the playoffs to reach a conference finals. That's the longest drought in NBA history. So it makes sense that last week, as LA sat 3-1 up on the Nuggets in the second round, Doc Rivers was asked what it was like to be on the brink of finally breaking that streak. And he scoffed and shook his head and shrugged his shoulders and said, quote, "That's not our goal, so I don't think anyone cares." And he was absolutely right, of course. Just getting to the conference finals is not the goal of an organization that spent years carefully stalking Kawhi Leonard or spending king's ransom to trade for Paul George. This year's Clippers team was put together to do no less than redefine the narrative of an entire franchise, to remove the loser's name tag and take the Clippers out from under the shadow of the big brother Lakers. I mean, owner Steve Ballmer is about to break ground on a brand new billion-dollar arena that absolutely, positively is not supposed to house a team that can't even eke its way to a conference finals. And yet, that's the brink that the Clippers are tottering on once again, pushed into tonight's Game 7 by 2 straight outings in which they coughed up double-digit leads to a sensationally spirited Denver team. The Nuggets, by the way, are trying to reshape a narrative of their own in this series, fighting any idea they are some sort of plucky upstarts who should just be happy to be here. They're a 3 seed playing a 2 seed. They have A-grade talent in Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, and the kind of resiliency that most coaches can only dream of. Already in these playoffs, Denver has won 5 straight elimination games, which is insane. They're not getting much credit, as if they were just the lucky team that happened to be on the floor the past 2 games as the Clippers self-destructed. Here's Denver's Mike Malone, quote, "I almost feel like we're the bad news Bears and I'm Coach Buttermaker. We're a team that nobody really looks at and takes us seriously, and our guys, I think, have taken that personally. We all say that we don't listen to it, but obviously we do listen to it because we talk about it. But we don't believe it. We feel that we are an NBA championship caliber team." Now, championship caliber is big talk, and the Nuggets could go a long way toward proving that tonight with a win. But it's also important to note that if the Nuggets lose, it won't be a black mark. No big name is getting traded. No coach or front office exec is going to lose their jobs. With the Clippers, if they lose tonight, it will be catastrophic and treated that way. And while I couldn't predict any particular changes the franchise might make, I would certainly expect some big ones. If the Clippers lose, every past blunder, every calamitous collapse in the team's, 50-year history would be brought back up. Every free agent pitch in the future would be affected. You know, it's funny. When Doc said last week that reaching the conference finals were, quote, not our goal and that no one cares, he was right if the Clippers win. If they lose, everyone will care, very loudly and for a very long time. So, Richard, what do you think is going to happen? Which team has the advantage tonight, Nuggets or Clippers?
Well, I was always told that if you're going to go into a Game 7, you want to have the best player. And the best player in this series is Kawhi Leonard. But one point that I want to point out about what you said, no one's getting fired from the Denver Nuggets. No one's going to be a big trade. That means there were no expectations. Like, they believe that they have a good team and that they're growing that direction. So I wouldn't call them the bad news Bears. I would just say that they're a team that's good, that doesn't have very high expectations other than a second round, possibly a conference finals. So we're not knocking them, but there's a reason. When you have high expectations, people get fired and people get traded when they aren't met.
And you also got to add, people get blamed for it. So I think if the Clippers do not pull this off, who are we, the world, going to blame or look at? We're going to look at Kawhi Leonard, obviously, for wanting to leave Toronto and have a Paul George. And with all of that talent, we expect them to win tonight.
So you, Vince, you're going with the Clippers? You think that they would be the pick for you?
Like RJ said it, you want to have the best player. You want to have the best team. I still think they have the best team. They just need to be the best team now. That's this we haven't seen. Like, up 16, up 19, and falling apart. That's unexcusable if you're talking about being a championship team. So I still think now the wake-up call is here, and they'll figure it out.
Now, I definitely think Kawhi Leonard is the best player in this series. I would put Kawhi Leonard personally in the conversation for the best player in the league. Has he played like the best player in this series, or has Nikola Jokic done that?
Well, I think Nikola Jokic has been probably the most consistent player. Look, this is not a knock on Kawhi, but like when you see these type of moments, you're like, well, is he the best player in the league? And it was the same question when you saw what Giannis did or how James Harden performed. And, so you have to, if you're going to have that crown, you have to wear that crown and you have to maintain it. And so Kawhi has to raise up. That's why we're saying they're going to win, because everyone believes he's a top 3, top 4 player in this league.
Vince, who's been the best player for you in this series? Yeah, go ahead.
I also want to add to that what you're saying. I think Kawhi is the best player in this series, and he's been putting up 30 balls for, pretty much the entire playoffs. And he had a mediocre 22, 25 points, and we're just like, tonight it has to be 30 or better from him as well as Paul George.
There you go. Marching orders from Mr. Vince Carter. I love it. All right, guys, coming up, you're going to see my conversation with the Celtics' young star, Jason Tatum. He's going to discuss his life without his family inside the bubble, although that's changing. His son is coming. His expectations for the Celtics in this playoff run as well. Stay tuned for that.
The Jump is presented by Best Buy. If you